Hi guys, so welcome to part 3 of the Blender lighting tutorial series. So today we are going to cover different aspects like portal lighting and how you can create different effects using lighting. So we'll cover all of that topic, so stay tuned till then and let's get started. So first of all, let's understand the portal lighting, what exactly it is and why it is used in product renders. So here you can see we have a helmet that is a bit weirdly textured, but we can use it. So I have made a cube just to make you understand what exactly portal light does. So you can see this is a small cube. Basically, I want to demonstrate the part of interior lighting for which mostly the portal lights are used. So in case this is the portal light, if you're not aware of this concept, you can use the area light with the portal ticked in it. So what eventually it does is it reduces the noise that is created due to the exterior lighting. So let's understand it. So let's go to the render mode and let's turn off the portal light. So I have used a sunlight in the exterior portion. Here you can see this is the sun and this is our object that we want to render in a very ideal scenario of interior lighting. That how I guess it functions. So whenever we make something like this, some parts create a lot of noise because the light in that particular portion remains very less. So as here you can see, some parts are creating a lot of noise and all right. So I have rendered it with portal light and without portal light. So what eventually it does is it creates the effect like this. So I hope you can see the difference. This is with portal light and this is without portal light. I know the difference is very minor, but if you'll pause and if you'll zoom in, you can simply understand what exactly I'm talking about. It eventually affects the overall noise that is generated from the render and reduces the overall impact of that. So it is quite helpful feature, to be honest, and it saves a lot of time on editing, especially if you are making bundle of scenes in a what you can say in a complex render. So it helps a lot in that scenario. So this is the concept of portal lighting, where you use a area light as a source and then you simply tick the portal mark and it eventually helps to reduce the noise. And don't forget to add other lights in the scene as well, because a simple portal light cannot do the wonders for you. But yeah, if you are using 2 or 3, let's say normal lighting, tri lighting, whatever concept you are using, you can use a portal light to reduce the noise and to sample the areas properly. So this is our first concept for today. Now, one more trick that I want to explain to all of you guys. You can use ambient occlusion node in the node shader. So this is the default shader that we get. So in case you want a quick shadow, or you can say decent shadow without much problems, so what you can do is you can, let me delete the portal light first. Okay, so you can select the surface, you can click on F3 and then search ambient occlusion. All right, so what you need to do is you can simply plug it in the base color. Here we go. So now you can see it is already forming a shadow. So what it will help you in, you don't have to put a lot of efforts in generating shadows for your object, and that is a very helpful thing because a lot of us are frustrated in getting right shadows for the, especially for the base. So if you use this node, I think it's a pretty decent option to get a automatically generated shadow for yourself, and it works in both EV as well as in cycles. So let me take the base a bit up. Okay, there we go. And let me reduce the sunlight intensity. All right, so it is 45. Let me make it somewhere around 15. Okay, it's more 7. Yeah, so you can see We haven't put much efforts in generating the shadow, but it is there. And if we turn it into point light and let's make it 50, I guess I need to close the distance so that it can be demonstrated easily. I guess it's very far from the object, so that's why the problems are there. Okay, I guess it's close enough to generate good shadow. Yeah, so you can clearly see. You need to just click on the cast shadow option if you haven't, and if we turn it off, you can see not much difference is there. Let me go back to layout mode so you can understand it in a better way. So we haven't casted the shadow from the main light yet. A decent or fair shadow is being generated by the surface on its own. So this is the advantage of ambient occlusion node that you can integrate in your daily workflows. And rather than you can focus on generating shadows from different objects through your lightings rather than the base. So it saves a lot of time for you guys. So this is the second hack. Okay, use ambient occlusion node whenever you are trying to generate a shadow out of your object from the base. Okay, so moving on to our next thing that you need to understand, and this is a very small hack, but still you need to understand for better lighting experience. So as you can see, we have used tree lighting, or what we call as tri lighting. So I've just placed it roughly. I haven't placed it accordingly, but it is a rough figure. All right. So in the render frame, you can see that the light has spread and it has a 180-degree spread. Each of the lights have 180-degree spread so that they can be spread equally to the complete surface without focusing on a one point. So what you can do is you can pick the lights for which you need a better highlight. So what you can eventually do is you can reduce the spread from here, and what it will enable you in, you can see the front is now much more brighter than the base and the background. It is a very genuine hack when we come to use it in our regular renders, because we can eventually increase and decrease it, and at 1 degree it completely points on a focus. You can see it is just about to penetrate the base, but don't pull it to that level. Just keep it on 60 or 70 in case you want a highlight in a particular area of the render. So you can increase and decrease the amount of spread from here, and it will help you in generating good highlights for your object. In case you are rendering it in a room, interior lighting, or you are rendering it on a white base, it's completely fine. But you can use this method to tweak with your lighting and get the proper results for yourself. Like if I reduce this, so you can see the shadows from the back are coming to forward. All right, so same goes with this light. So this is a small trick that you can use to manipulate things and generate good highlights for your renders. All right, so let's move on to our node network. So let me move to the shading tab. So what you can do is you can use a object as well as a emission and generate good patterns from that. And by that I meant, okay, so here is our helmet, and let's see what else we can do with the lighting. So let's go to the solid mode and add some few shapes. So I've taken a cube. Let me pull it up. All right, so just increase the size on x-axis, a bit on z as well. Move it a bit forward, duplicate it, rotate it a bit, move it on y-axis, and now let's see. Okay, so we have the background, but we need to cut the light a bit more so that a shape can be formed. So here you can see it is basically the shapes that you can use to create different kinds of shapes and pattern around your object in case you want a special effect. Now some of you might be seeing the videos in which people have used different shapes, like making zigzag patterns, then copying this cube, taking both of it, copying them again, copying them again in front of the lights to generate effects like these. And believe me, it is very cool to use shapes in order to generate good patterns for your object. Now my object is quite small, so the pattern is reflecting on surface more rather than on object. But when you render high scale objects, then you can clearly put the pattern on the object, and you can use the materials accordingly so that it can reflect the objective that you want to show, the creativity that you want to show with the shadows of your light. All right, so be experimental with the cubes or whatever mesh you like, and create different kinds of shapes around your object in order to reflect good lighting and good shapes that enhance the overall image. And also use portal lighting, and also play with the colors of the light. So let me take this light, duplicate it, make it as point light, then change it to 45, make the color approx, I guess this color will work. So let me see if there is any change. Yeah, so I know it's looking quite weird, but you got the objective, right? You can play with the colors, play with the lighting, and move the objects here and there so that you can get a perfect match for your object in which you can render it, and ultimately you can publish it with the creative marks. All right, so moving on to a final change which you can implant. So what you can simply do is you can pick up the camera that you are using. Let me check which one is it. Yeah, it is camera. All right, so most of the people, what they do is they leave the camera as it is, and by default the camera is 36 mm. Okay, so that is the default camera that comes in the Blender, but you can choose from here whatever you want to pick, and mostly I use Dragon 6K. It's a Red Dragon setup that is imposed on your current scene. When you choose that, its width and height, you can simply increase and decrease as per your frame setup, but mostly leave it on default because it is sufficient enough, and the renders are quite good in that. And focal length, you can increase and decrease. Try to put it something around 70 mm. That is a very decent range. So see, the motive is that sometimes the objects get stretched. If your focal length and width is not enough, it looks stretched on the corners. So what this will help you in is symmetrizing the whole object in composition and making it look even on every count. So this will help you in that. So make sure to change your camera, and I'm not forcing you to limit to this, but you can experiment with different setups that is there in Blender, and then you can choose what suits your renders. All right, so you can choose any one of them as per your requirements, and also you can choose depth of field. So in case you are not aware of this, you can simply click this, and just a second. Okay, yeah, so you can simply pick this, and what it will do is it will try to focus the camera's lens on the object rather than on background. So what it will do is it will create a decent blur in the background so that your object could be highlighted more. So this is also a very useful option that we use in the renders. And I have made a compilation of this particular helmet, so I'll be uploading soon a short animation of that. But for now, these are some of the basic tricks that you can implement in your lighting compositions so that your compositions can be enhanced to next level. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in next tutorial. Till then, bye bye.